Join me as I dive into a chilling true story that actually happened and see if you can handle the fear. There's something about scary true stories that can be more terrifying than fiction. Maybe it's because we know it actually happened, or maybe it's because our minds can't help but wonder what we would do in that same situation. Whatever the reason, there's no denying that true stories can be downright chilling. And that's exactly what I've got for you today. Meet Emily, a 22-year-old college student who had just moved into a new apartment off campus. It was a beautiful place, and she was excited to start fresh in a new space. But as soon as she started unpacking, she noticed something strange. Doors would slam shut on their own, and she would hear whispers in the hallway at night. At first, she wrote it off as the typical creaks and groans of an old building, but as the days went by, the occurrences became more frequent and more intense. Emily tried to brush it off as mere paranoia, but she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. She would find objects moved from their usual places, and her food would go missing from the fridge. It was as if someone was playing a twisted game of hide-and-seek, and Emily was the unwitting participant. She started to feel like she was losing her mind, and the fear was starting to take over. As the days turned into weeks, Emily became more and more desperate for answers. She researched the history of the building, but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. She even set up cameras around the apartment, but they didn't capture anything concrete. It was as if the entity, or whatever it was clever enough to avoid detection. Emily was at her wit's end, and she didn't know what to do next. The nights were the worst. Emily would lie awake, listening to the creaks and groans of the apartment, wondering when the next event would occur. She started to feel like she was trapped in some kind of twisted nightmare, and she didn't know how to wake up. The fear was suffocating, and Emily knew she had to do something before it was too late. One night, Emily woke up to find a figure standing in her bedroom doorway. It was tall and imposing, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. Emily froze, her heart pounding in her chest. She tried to scream, but her voice was caught in her throat. The figure started to move towards her, its eyes fixed on hers, and Emily knew she was staring death in the face. The next few seconds were a blur. Emily managed to scramble out of bed and make a run for the door, but the figure was too quick. It grabbed her by the arm, and Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She was trapped, and there was no escape. The figure leaned in close, its eyes burning with an intense heat, and Emily knew she was about to meet her maker. As suddenly as it had started, everything stopped. The figure vanished, and Emily was left standing alone in her bedroom. She didn't know what had just happened, but she knew she had to get out of there fast. She grabbed a few belongings and fled the apartment, never looking back. In the end, Emily learned that sometimes the things that go bump in the night are all too real. She never went back to that apartment, and she never spoke of that night again. But the experience changed her, and she knew she would never be the same. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any thoughts on the story, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you're feeling brave, be sure to check out my next video for another spine-chilling tale.